Together, Frank Pauls and his son Brian farm the fertile soils of the beautiful Fraser Valley. Several generations of the Pauls family have worked this land near Chilliwack, B.C. Part of what makes their operation unique is the special father-son relationship that Brian and Frank share. Brian considers his dad a boss, a business partner, a mentor, and a friend. Together, they make a pretty good team. They also share a pretty unique title. In 1990, Frank and his wife Elma were named B.C. Yukon Region's Outstanding Young Farmers. In 2016, Brian and his wife Jewel received the same honor, making them the first second-generation winner of this award.
I was just honored they still think I'm young. Because there's a lot of days I don't feel very young. I think maybe we won because we approach farming a little bit differently.
What truly makes this farm family different isn't just what they do, it's also about how they do it. The Pauls raise chicken broilers and layers in 2 provinces, B.C. and Saskatchewan. They run a state-of-the-art egg packing facility that can process over 72,000 eggs per hour. They grow what some might consider unusual crops such as tulips and hops, a crop that isn't new to this region but is making a comeback in the Fraser Valley due to the popularity of microbreweries. To support this investment, they have recently built a new hops processing facility.
I see the things that are happening every year, and it's always the push to try to make what works work better.
How defines the way they run the business. Not only do Brian and Jewel own and operate farms themselves, but they also own farms on separate farm locations. The Pauls have hired 2 families to manage farms for them in British Columbia and 3 in Saskatchewan. This approach means that there are many factors to consider when expanding the farm business and the farm family.
You want it to be comfortable for them. You want them to be happy there. So if that means, doing some updates to the house or kind of talking to them to see what their needs are, because ultimately we want them to stay long term.
According to Brian, buying family farms and hiring the families to run them not only gives the opportunity to people who may not have the capital to own their own farm, but it also reduces their risk of a disease outbreak.
It mitigates the risk. If you have one big farm with one disease, then your whole entire cash flow and operation is exposed to that risk very fast. Whereas this gives us a bit of a break and barriers in between operations, so it brings a level of safety to the overall business plan.
How reflects their belief that taking care of the environment and the livestock takes care of the bottom line.
When this is fully open, we can do a barn air exchange in 40 to 45 seconds to get all new air, all fresh air, so the birds always have the best air, no dust, and very dry manure, no ammonia, and that in turn leads to very good production.
Now, Brian and Jewel are quick to point out that caring about the environment, animal welfare, and what people think about your farm is a value system that is not peripheral to a strong business, but it is, in fact, at its very basis.
Well, I think as a parent, you always want to teach your kids to be people of integrity and work hard and, be careful with the environment and, good farm business practices.
It doesn't just happen. You don't do well just by accident.
In the end, how will define the legacy that the Pauls want to leave for their children? Even in the midst of the chaotic pace that is typical for young farm families these days, their choices have clearly defined what success looks like for them. Prioritizing family time, forging a foundation of faith, and just as important, maintaining a sense of humor no matter what.